Hello everyone, and welcome back to my cozy little corner of the internet, or welcome if this is your first time. Found a nice little campfire here in this quiet corner of Evening Star, doing its best not to be doused by this miserable rainy weather we seem to have here. I hope update 73 in the game finds you well. I thought maybe we could have a look at a couple of the quests in there today. A little update on my goings on. I've kind of caught up now. It was a bit problematic in a sense to have a series I was doing sort of being recorded in some cases a month or two in advance of me actually showing them. So anything game-wise that I was talking about was at best only semi-relevant by the time you got to see it. So I'm glad to see the back of that at least. And most of my recordings now should be pretty relevant to the here and now in game terms. I made a little list of bits and pieces to discuss. I plan to show, as I am in late epic here, level 29, I plan to show the two epic quests. If you didn't know, the latest little bundle, Tavern Tales, which released with update 73 and is free to VIPs, I got it for the DDO points. I did for some reason I can't quite understand, they've given a discount in terms of points if you buy all three, or you can buy them like one at a time, or if you just want one or two for the individual points. But yeah, two of them are late epic, I think level 28 base, so those are the two we're going to have a little look at today. And the other two, which I've not yet seen, are they level 35? Yeah, I think legendary 35. Am I right with that? Let's just have a quick cheat. Yeah, so I'm saying I'm wrong. There's actually only one that's a level 28. The other one is also a 28, but it's a free quest, so free to play, and that is in the harbour, in the same place where the what was it called? The Memoirs of the Illusionary Larcener was removed from. So when you teleport into the harbour, you're basically right next to that new quest. The other one, Toil and Trouble, is here in Evening Star, just next to the entrance to the King's Forest portal there. And the other two are in the marketplace and the harbour, respectively. They're 28 and 28, 35, 35 for the epic and legendary, and the heroic ones are ranging between levels 3 to 5, I think, so lower heroic for the heroic ones. Loot wise, I haven't checked. I don't know if there's anything tasty in the form of loot in there, so you never know. Maybe we get lucky and find something nice. It's nice to see something different, should I say, for late epic, because we've long been seeing the end game content being expanded, but the sort of epic leveling stuff, broadly speaking, stayed the same and not had very many things added to it, so that's nice. The fact that the whole chain is spread out all over the place, quest giveaways, I don't know. I can't quite decide. I mean, I can see why they've done it. They've kind of put things alongside other relevant content. For example, the legendary stuff in this pack, the Covered Culvert and Sleeping with the Fishes. It's to do with the sewers, I think. I, for one, am quite looking forward to seeing some legendary content to do with that, because I always associate the sewers with a very early game. My first experiences in the game, the waterworks chain. I'm sure it's the same for many of us. So to see something at the other end of that, I think the only one I can think of that probably fits that bill on the legendary side would be the one in Meridia, the Creeping Death, which is obviously sewer based. So I look forward to seeing what those have in store. It's going to feel weird, to be honest, because it's totally ingrained in my subconscious that sewers means like steam tunnels and all that kind of stuff and low level questing. So to suddenly get top end content with little kobolds and that kind of thing is gonna feel a little bit strange. I think a bit of a departure from the norm, shall we say? So, what have I been up to? As you can probably deduce from this mishmash of ranger, fighter, and monk, it's a Tabaxi Trailblazer. So first level monk. So I decided to put a second level of monk for another free feat, and also 2 levels of monk gives evasion. Dragonlord, I've found. I mean, we've already done a bit of a feature on that, haven't we? I found it makes a very good for those who are melee centered, particularly. I mean, you could use this class a lot like people who prefer ranged are using the inquisitive or have used it for a long time, meaning it's very flexible. Put 5 levels in Dragonlord and you can basically put whatever you want in the other classes and you'll still have a decent functional character. Excuse me a second. Sorry about that. So yes, 5 levels of Dragonlord gets you the tier 5s in whichever side you decide to go in. I think I'd probably be in a minority here, focusing on the Ravager side. Most people would focus on the tier 5s in here for the helpless, the raw, then inducing helplessness and big damage coming. I mean, this tree is just so good for the fact it's got everything that you would want inside this one tree. You've got your haste boost, your trans, of which more later, because I don't particularly like the way this is working, or in the case, as is often the case in DDO, not working. Those of you who've tried this will probably realize where I'm going with this. The CC with the raw, and also there is an imbue, a nice imbue in there. I think it tells you there, yeah, 200% the higher of melee or ranged power. So you don't need to do anything, on the gear side, any kind of spell power thing, not necessary for that. So that's great too. So yeah, I thoroughly appreciate having all these low-hanging goodies and still being able to be in the Ravager side of things for this blood strength, which I really do value. It means, among other things, as it's a really strong source of self-healing, that I don't need to go into the sentinel tree as I normally always would for renewal. So then I can have 3 really decent contributions from my epic trees. And this kind of exercise is helping me sort of moving forward. If you've seen the Dragonlord videos, you'll know I'm kind of building with my character here, Fools, towards doing something melee-wise at the cap. I haven't finalized yet what form that's going to take, but going through and doing some lives as a melee and getting used to what some of these epic destinies can bring me, how the things work. For instance, the healing using the primal scream, it's not something I've touched on before. So all this kind of stuff is, I think it's going to be useful for moving forward. Where was I going with that? Yeah, the Dragonlord. So Dragonlord, very flexible, and if you have, a series of melee lives to do, or you just prefer melee style in general, 5 Dragonlord and whatever else you want would, I'm sure, serve you reasonably well, at least according to my experimentation. Now this trans here, on paper, it's awesome, but in practice, I don't know if there's something that I'm unaware of that's just buggy in the game, but half the times I click on that to activate it, the thing goes on cooldown, loses me a charge, and it just doesn't work. So that is frustrating. I don't know what it is about it, whether it's not playing nicely with some other things I've got going on or what. If any of you has any light to shed on that, I would really appreciate the help. But it's a shame because it's the only strength trans, and it's I suppose it seemed almost too good to be true, because unlike some of the others that we could have chosen with melee characters, let's say the know the angles, with this one, it's giving us insight bonus to attack as well, whereas some of the other commonly used ones, like the know the angles in Harper, or I think maybe the falconry one as well, it just does damage and the DC of tactical feats. So the insight to attack is quite a nice thing to have, and means you don't have to gear for it, because especially at endgame, I don't think there are too many pieces with insightful attack. So to have it included in the trance is a nice convenience, in my opinion, at least. So I'm leaning towards at least having this kind of investment in the dragon tree. I would really like to do a barbarian at the cap for my final melee build, but I try as I might, I've been playing about with that planner, and I can't figure out a way to get all the important things into a build. So the imbue, the boost, the trans, I just can't seem to get them all to marry up nicely in a build like I would favour the Ravager Barbarian tree, which would mean I'd have to go in the what do you call it, Berserker tree, at least 11 points for the imbue, which isn't particularly good anyway on a barbarian, so I'm led to believe. The imbue is supposed to be mediocre at best, their imbue, but that's besides the point. And if I put 11 into Berserker, then I'd be struggling with I think we need to put some points in Vistani anyway, so it's looking like it might be a Dragonlord, my end build, and the biggest miss there would be the dodge. I think the uncanny dodge from the Barbarian, that would be a huge loss. That and the Barbarian damage reduction, and I'd guess just the hit points in general. While we're here, we could have a quick look at the Tabaxi Trailblazer, because that's got some nice things it's giving us. A couple of sneak dice. The speed thing is nice. We've seen this before, haven't we? I think we've done a standard Tabaxi on the channel. When you stand still for 6 seconds, you get a nice boost. Otherwise, we've got the sneaky dice. There are 2 very good things that I haven't taken because I didn't realize they were in this tree, and I took them instead as feats. So the spring attack, awesome. I'm guessing you don't even need to meet the prerequisites for that, i.e. dodge and mobility in your feats to get that one. So that's really nice. And then the deflect arrows, which I took as a monk bonus feat before I realized that it was available in this tree. So there are some nice things in there. I think that's about it for that. What else have we got noted here? I've mentioned the new quest chain. Yeah, that trans issue has really. It must be something to do with some kind of conflict with other things that are going, because when I press it at the start, like there, it goes off as normal. But when I'm in the middle of things, I don't know if it's because it still has some time left to run or what. I mean, we could try that, couldn't we? Let's do it again when it runs out. See if it'll do it again. It did it there, didn't it? So it's not just if it's still on its timer. I don't know, but it's certainly nowhere near as reliable as the one the like the favored soul thing or the paladin one or the know the angles, which I've never had any issues with. So it's source of some frustration. I was reading in the forum recently something about the 0 degree comet, that there's some kind of a bug there, which kind of pricked my ears up because I do have that on my cold druid build, which I haven't played too much recently, but it is an integral part. I'm in the Magus tree all the way up to the top, so I was wondering what that's all about. Is it if I understand it correctly, it's giving the enemy a save for no damage instead of half damage. Is that what's happening there? If so, that's quite disappointing, especially given the disadvantages the casters are at anyway at end game. If I understand it right, from Reaper 7 and above, there's currently a higher damage reduction in terms of the damage you do to opponents for spellcasters than there is for melee or ranged, which has been the source of some consternation for some time now, I think already. But yeah, I was a bit disappointed to read that about the comet. I've made nice use of this exposing strike in the. I'll just have a quick word about what I've tried to do with this mishmash build. So I've got 10 Dark Hunter because I'm trying for a Dark Hunter past life, which, if you didn't know, is 1 to hit and 1 damage with sneak attacks for your past life. So I've gone into the Deepwood tree enough to get 20 double strike with this killer, which strikes me as pretty nice. Some extra damage there on hits, and this excellent exposing strike, which when it's run on a strike through build like ours is, two-handed fighting, we're hitting sort of 2 or 3 nearby targets with it, making them all vulnerable to sneak attacks and the extra damage that goes with. So I've particularly enjoyed having that. I would love to have it on the end melee build, but I suppose another option is to have one of the overpowered crowd control-y type things they seem to be putting in now, like is it the Dragon's Maw from the Threats Old and New raid, that Kukri, which has all sorts of crowd control on it and could be an excellent choice for us. Last little thing I wanted to mention, there's a couple actually. I was wondering what people find to spend platinum on these days. If you're like me and you've got a few millions, or maybe a few tens of millions in the case of more regular players, I do go on the plat auction house looking for like the shards that you can make XP potions out of, jeweler's toolkits. I will happily spend on tokens, bronze tokens for the desert sands items. Sometimes double slotted weapons if I've got a particular life coming up and I'm thinking about Canith crafting a weapon for a specific level range, that kind of thing. Is there anything I've missed? So yeah, I was just curious if you might have any any sort of glaring thing I've missed that I could be spending these resources on. And the other thing I wanted to touch on a little bit, this melee end build that I'm slowly working towards, I suppose, as with all builds, I'm going to need to make it fit my requirements. Now, my requirements at the cap will be, broadly speaking, questing and survival, because he's going to be on his own for the lion's share of the time. So it will be a lot different to somebody who would, let's say, raid a lot more, where there would very likely be dedicated healer and tank, and you would probably just build for out and out damage in that case, whereas I have to consider more survivability, defenses, stroke heal. So one of the things I did consider, I don't know whether I can bring it up here, can I? No, because I've chosen my epic destinies. There are a couple of excellent builds posted recently in the Barbarian forum by a player called Tronco, one of which mentions going into the macrotechnic epic destiny, which obviously involves using a rune arm. And there are lots of nice defensive things on there, extra hit points, some nice damage absorption. So survivability in general just gets a really decent boost. And I was thinking for a solo, that could be a good way to try and go. Rune arm wise, we could go with one of those dino crafted ones, which you can put some really nice things on, as we've seen. If you've seen my my ranged character Red, he has a dino rune arm, and there's stuff like I think it's 2 profane sneak attack dice. There's something. Oh, you can get the acid imbue on there, can't you? The like the dripping with magma fire one, but for acid, whatever that's called. Acid damage over time, which stacks up quite nicely. So there's some good stuff available on a rune arm. So I'm considering that. That's as far as I've got with my thinking for the end build. Possibly that crowd control sickle, possibly a rune arm macro build, and I would definitely like to keep this this Ravager either in Barbarian or with the Dragonlord here. I'm leaning towards the Dragonlord simply because points wise it's less of a stretch to get everything in that I see as essential. Okay, let's stop the waffle for now. So the 2 new quests, I've played through each at least once so I don't make a total mess of things. Both base level 28. And as far as I can ascertain, both are pretty heavy on the big packs of opponents. So some AoE would be very nice to have. Now in the case of this one, let's just try and explain it a little bit for those of you who haven't seen it. There's 2 orbs here. We have to go and touch 2 matching mushrooms, so a purple one and a yellow one, found down this path here, to free up that path further forward.
You notice 2 unusual trees among the rest.
I'm going to make as good a use of our AoE. We've got the whirlwind thing here for that. So one is down here.
As you recognize the telltale signs of a hidden door. No doubt by activating these orbs, You'll reveal
I
a
should
hag.
mention again, although this Ravager tree is far from ideal for ultimate damage, there are a couple of strikes in here, both of which are on my bar. Oh, let's get out of here before all this stuff comes active. I'd forgotten about that. Can we just leave it there? Yeah. Oh, crud. They never let me explain anything, do they?
Nice one.
So you can see the lines of extra hit points nicely outweighing the damage we're taking most of the time. If we do need a little boost, we've got the primal scream that we can use to give us a nice heal in conjunction with the tier 4 from the fury tree, 3 in there. Also, we do have 3 second winds from our fighter levels. You can see the second mushroom we're going for over there. So yeah, let's just mention again the healing that we're getting from this blood strength goes off melee power and obviously our own healing amp. And our melee power can be increased by using this attack. You can see there. Is it there? Yeah, melee power. No, it's not that one, is it? Come on, get it right. Yes, when you use Cruel Cut, you gain +5 melee power for 10 seconds. And when we crit with this one, we gain 10 melee power for 15 seconds. So they both have the effect of boosting up our healing. So they both get used regularly.
You hear a rustling
So
of
now we just
leaves
get
and
out of here
snapping of
before all
vines
these
from back
things
in the
can
direction of the
start
clearing,
popping up.
as if the trees themselves were moving.
Go
The
through
pathway to
that
the
portal
hag has
area.
been revealed.
And another absolute pile of things. For those of you not familiar with the Dragonlord, you get 5 of those trance activations by default, and the mechanism to restore them is the use of the Dragon's Roar. So even if you're not in combat and if you're low like we are here, you can just hit the roar, and if you get lucky, which we didn't there, you get an extra charge back. And of course now I'm without the roar, which isn't optimal. Roar, if you didn't know, I mean, this is a good illustration. These plants and things would be a nightmare for somebody who's spec'd into something like mass hold, would be totally useless. So the roar would be a really good, it's just one CC to rule them all.
The hag loudly
So the hag
asserts her
tells us the
innocence.
wizard
She tells you that
did
someone
it,
else
and
may
now we
have
have to
entered
go off and
illegally.
find this wizard.
A red wizard of Fae who recently arrived in the forest.
And here we go again with another pile of things. I'm going to try this with the raw. See there? Pretty damn good. So because we haven't got the tier 5 in the Dragonlord tree,
Adventurer, hear me.
we only
This forest
halt them.
needs your
We
help.
don't cause them to be
The voice
helpless.
continues.
That's an optional
The hag
there.
speaks
We're going to
true.
just
She is not
push
the
on
source of my anger.
towards the end.
Something far worse has come to the forest. Come to my shrine and I will explain. That was remarkable.
And where are we going? Why has that not opened? Have I missed something? Oh, come to the shrine, it said. Right, okay. Yeah. So you have to actually approach this and then
My
go
Liki
on.
herself reaches out to you
My
to
bad.
describe the Red Wizard's crime. He's killed a unicorn, the goddess's favorite creature, on her shrine, defiling it. She implores you to find and defeat the offender.
The hag
You
appears
realize with
here
horror that this
to
red
talk to.
wizard has not only
And then
slain a
she's going to
unicorn,
take care
he
of
is
the
about to
wizard. We
commit
have
an
to
even
deal with
more
this
heinous deed.
unicorn.
He's going to raise the unicorn's corpse. The worried hag
Let's
frantically
try our
begs
hood of
for you to
unrest.
talk to her. The hag explains that she is oath-bound not to harm the unicorn, even
Come on,
if it's
today.
undead. If you can deal with the unicorn, she can deal with the wizard.
There are, as you've probably seen there already, some smaller units of health coming back to us. Even when we're hitting, we're not killing the opponent. This blood strength, you can see there's a 12% chance just on a hit that we get a heal, but it's quite minimal compared to the nice boost that you get from a kill.
The hag imprisons him with a gesture. A smile.
So we just to wait a little while and she'll give us the chest. If we wanted that chest way back there, we would have to do some messing about to get the optional, which in the interest of saving time here I'm not going to do.
She waves her hand and a chest appears. Thank you.
Okay, so as mentioned, well, I call it the first one in the chain. This is really the first one in the chain. The one I'm calling the first one is the free one, which is in the harbour.
As she leaves, the red wizard in tow.
And you can't miss it if you just teleport to harbour. It's exactly where the old illusory larcener was, as far as I'm aware. As near as makes no difference anyway. So let's go and have a go at that one. Again, same base level 28. And pretty much the same story really. Just running from one fat group of opponents to another. And in this case on the map, we will see them marked, so we'll be able to go from one group to the other and possibly try and avoid other nasty looking things if we see that we don't need to engage them. Okay, speak to the person here and we're off.
You step out of the camp.
So you can see there's the first group.
You can hear high-pitched shrieks.
I think it's basically just a case of try to eliminate the groups. And then it's literally like an old arcade game, this. Eliminate all the first level groups, go to the second level, and then go to the boss at the end. Another group here. I'm trying to avoid two groups sort of becoming one big mess here. People more confident could perhaps make one massive group out of 3 or 4, but I'm just trying to deal with them one at a time so we don't get overwhelmed or anything silly happening with the dungeon alert. Looks like there's just another 2 left here. I quite like going in with the spring attack and then the whirlwind. Now if we had a CC on our weapon, that could be a really potent opening, because our AoE then would have half of them CC'd anyway. Okay, so phase 2 again, looking for the groups of things. Oh, am I gonna get surrounded here? I hope not. Doesn't look good, does it? This does not look good. Did my best to get the Reaper with the Dragon's Roar thing. Okay, there's one straggler there. Oh, and a Fear Reaper for good measure. Is that the remains of a group down there? I'm not sure I should have gone into these. I'm not sure they were mandatory. I think those ones over in the corner were an optional. These ones are definitely mandatory by the looks of them.
Fortune favors the bold.
Okay, you two, yes, I think so. Oh, I don't like the look of you, pal. I quite like that element to adrenaline, the CC element, the auto knockdown. I think that comes somewhere. Where does it come from? It's in one of these, isn't it? I thought it was. Or is it one of these? Something somewhere that's causing adrenaline to do I think it's a 4-second knockdown with no save, and now I can't find where it is, so I'm looking like an idiot. Oh, there we go. So if we've put 3 in there, which you always would, to get the maximum damage from it, I think there's something trying to sneak up on us there, ain't there? Let's demonstrate. There we go. Down you go. Beautiful. Second wave, so we've still got some... Yeah, we've got a group up there. Yeah, so that just gives us the breathing space to really get stuck into a nastier target, that knockdown. Of course, it doesn't work on a Reaper, but for that we've got the exposing strike from the Ranger.
You've dispatched another group of dinosaurs.
Terrifying
Yet
Roar. So we're
terrifying roar
at
from
rank
nearby
3 now
makes
for
it
the
clear
groups. So I
that
think
the
each of
battle
these has
is
a
not
big
yet won.
nasty dinosaur in it. Okay, next one, please. He's got some beef to him, my word. Okay. Where's the next big group? Down there, okay. As far as I'm aware, the stragglers don't need eliminating. It's just wherever you see a big group, they're the ones to go for the quest completion.
You're really good at this.
That was clever, still hammering away on him while the thing was long dead. I was watching the cooldowns on the bars here instead of the main screen. There's still one here, isn't there?
You pause to savor your victory.
Okay, and I
but are
think the...
interrupted by a deep, booming voice.
Where is it? Is it there?
What's
Yeah,
this?
that's it.
What's happened to my army?
That's the final battle. Can we just sneak this chest before you... No, we can't. Oh, God.
Oh, I'll do
Okay.
it quick.
We'll use the little ones to feed off for extra hit points. Remembering we can use Primal Scream to recover health as well.
Down they go. shaman dies. With
Not
him dies his
particularly
mad plan
convincing,
to
but we'll
attack
take it.
Stormreach with a dinosaur army. Time to tell Regina that the threat is over.
That was
And then we just go
remarkable.
back to the start area to claim our prize, I
Regina
think.
offers her thanks for defeating the dinosaur horde, as well as a chest full of rewards.
Oh, we got a... Now then. That's not looking too bad. What is it? A clothing, vitality. And it's got a sun slot in there as well. That's not terrible, is it? Although it would break any gear set that we had. Unless, of course, we got to a situation where we were using a lot of sun and moon augments instead. So, I don't know about you folks, but I don't think there's anything particularly imaginative in there. Just one big pack after another. I think there's one or two side quests in each one, which if I'd have had more time for the recording, I would have tried to delve into. But nice anyway to see some more on the epic side for those who are regularly doing epic lives, TRs, that kind of thing. To be going all the time through the same old routine sort of wears a bit after a while. So anything new, I think, is a bit of a bonus. Loot wise, as I say, I don't know because I haven't found anything. That's the first item I've found. Doesn't look terrible, does it? That clothing. I've seen better, seen worse. But of course, with any of the new things, you've got the option of putting your tailor-made set bonus in the augment slot, which is a nice change to the things of the past. So maybe armor will become a thing again now. As far as I've been concerned, armor was always a no-no. The epic armors that I would find, because it would break whatever heroic, usually a heroic Shan set that I was wearing. But perhaps it's a sign of things to come. Okay, I won't litter on anymore. I've got what have I got coming in the future? I'm gonna do a couple of lives of that. What's it called? Dragon Disciple Monk, isn't it? Which, if you didn't know, the past life for that is +1 attack. Now, attack, it doesn't sound very glamorous, but I'm led to believe that there are things, especially as the end game is expanding, the to hit is becoming just as important, if not more so now, than the damage. Because there's a lot of things now where we are having these grazing hits with melee or outright misses on much higher than a 1, so that it's becoming more and more important to boost the to hit roll. So I'm going to try and do that, and in so doing, I might have a look at what I can do with. I don't think I'm going to do the. It's a hybrid, isn't it? A caster melee hybrid. I don't think I'm going to do that because the gear would be all over the place, and I'm not really down for that. But what I am going to try and do is do something with the. As it's a monk life, to try and do something with the monk side of things, because I've realized that if you go into tier 5 Kensei, you can be centered with all sorts of stuff, can't you? Like two-handed sword or whatever it happens to be that you're specializing in. So that. I think that's going to be the next thing. I'm going to try and do a 1 to 20 with sort of a base of fighter, and then throw all the levels of monk in, and see if, rather than just have those be passenger levels, see if we can make them be useful in some way towards making. I've got a plan to go into the Shinto monk tree to pick up a nice healing thing in addition to some more attack and damage. I think there's some other goodies in that tree as well. So watch this space for that one. In the meantime, happy questing. Thanks a lot for looking, and I'll speak to you soon. Take care.